Listen, can you hear that? It's the sound of silence, a silence so heavy it feels like it's crushing your chest. It's the morning snow, dampening every noise, every breath, every heartbeat. We are back there. You know the place, you know the time, the snowy hill, the blue sky that feels too bright for what's about to happen. This is the moment everything changed, the morning of departure. But today, we are not here to watch history repeat itself. We are here to ask the forbidden question, the question that haunts every fan who has ever stared at the ceiling at 3 a.m., wondering about the cruelty of fate. What if Guts didn't stop? We know the scene. Guts, the 100-man slayer, stands ready. His sword, that massive pre-Dragon Slayer slab of iron, rests on his shoulder. Opposite him is Griffith, the White Hawk, the man who holds the world in the palm of his hand. Or so he thinks. Griffith is desperate. We often forget how fragile he is in this moment. Miura drew him with a subtle tremble, a crack in the porcelain mask. He isn't fighting for his dream here. He's fighting for possession. You belong to me. That's the mantra screaming in his head. In the cannon, Guts swings, Griffith parries, the White Hawk's saber shatters, and Guts's blade stops inches from Griffith's neck. A display of superior strength, but also of supreme control. It was Guts saying, I have surpassed you. But let's change one variable. Just one. Let's change the momentum. Guts is angry. Not the hateful rage of the black swordsman we know later, but a confused teenage frustration. He wants to be seen. He wants to be an equal. He swings that sword with the force of a man who has spent his life cutting through armor, through bone, through nightmares. He forgets for a split second that he is fighting a friend. He fights as if he is fighting Zod. The steel connects. Clang. The sound rings out, sharp and painful. Griffith's saber snaps. We've seen that before. But this time, Guts' sword doesn't stop. The sheer kinetic energy, the weight of that iron slab, it's too much to arrest midair. Guts' boots slip on the icy mud. His grip tightens when it should loosen. The blade continues its arc. It happens in less than a second. There is no speech, no final philosophical debate about dreams, just the sickening, wet thud of iron meeting flesh. The blade cleaves through Griffith's shoulder, down through the chest, exiting the hip. The White Hawk is nearly bisected. Stop. Breathe. Let that sink in. The snow turns red, instantly, vividly. It's not the artistic, flowing blood of a duel. It's the catastrophic mess of a slaughter. Griffith hits the ground, not with grace, but like a broken puppet. His eyes are wide, fixed on the sky, reflecting that piercing blue that mocked his ambition. The silence returns. But now it's screaming. Guts stands there, the sword buried in the frozen earth, his hands vibrating. He looks down. He expects Griffith to stand up. He expects a lecture. He expects something. But there is only the steam rising from the open wound. The man who was destined to rule the world, the man chosen by the crimson Beherit, the man who carried the hopes of the Band of the Hawk, is meat. Just meat. This is the first layer of our nightmare. We have to confront the reality of Berserk's violence without the shield of fantasy. Miura often used violence to strip away the facade of nobility. Here, we have the ultimate stripping. The king of longing died in a muddy ditch, killed by his own dog. Now, look at the others. Casca. Casca is watching from the sidelines. In the original story, she gasps, she worries. Here, her mind fractures. We talk about the eclipse breaking Casca, but this, seeing the man she worships, the man she loves, butchered by the man she was just starting to trust, it's a different kind of break. It's immediate. It's sharp. Griffith. The scream rips through the morning air. It's not a human sound. It's the sound of a world ending. She runs. She slides in the snow, falling, crawling toward the body. She touches the blood, and her brain refuses to process it. This is Griffith. He can't die. He is undying. He is the dream. Judeau, Pippin, Corcus, they are frozen. Corcus, who always hated Guts, who always warned them. He doesn't even gloat. He vomits. The reality is too stark. The Golden Age hasn't just ended. It has been murdered. And Guts is staring at his hands. This is the tragedy of the struggler. His entire life, his sword was his only way to interact with the world. It was his shield, his friend, his voice. And now that same sword has taken the only thing that gave his life structure. He didn't mean to do it. But does intent matter to the dead? Does intent matter to causality? Speaking of causality, this is where we need to get analytical. This is where we dig into the metaphysics of Miura's world. The Skull Knight calls Guts a struggler because he is a fish that jumps out of the river of fate. But usually, the river corrects itself. If you save someone destined to die, they die later. If you try to avoid a war, the war finds you. But killing Griffith, killing the chosen one before the eclipse, this isn't jumping out of the river. This is damming the river. The crimson Beherit, the egg of the king, falls from Griffith's severed neck. It lands in the snow, face up. Its eyes are open. Its mouth is twisted. Does it scream? No. A Beherit activates when the owner reaches the absolute depth of despair. Griffith is dead. He can't feel despair. He can't sacrifice. The transaction is void. The God Hand, Void, Slan, Ubik, Conrad, they are waiting in the astral layer. They have been plotting this for centuries. The idea of evil has been manipulating bloodlines for 1,000 years to create Griffith. And now, a brute with a big sword just canceled the apocalypse by accident. Or did he? Imagine the panic in the astral realm. Can gods feel panic? If the laws of causality are absolute, Griffith cannot die here, but he is dead. His heart has stopped. The brain activity is gone. Guts has introduced a chaotic element that the system didn't account for. Sheer, unadulterated human error. Back on the hill, the band of the hawk turns. The shock is fading, replaced by a primal, burning hatred. They draw their swords. Rickert, the child, is crying. Pippin, the gentle giant, has a look of dark thunder on his face. Casca stands up covered in Griffith's blood. She doesn't look at Guts with confusion anymore. She looks at him with the eyes of a widow who has found the murderer. "Kill him," she whispers. Then she screams it. "Kill him." Guts backs away. He pulls his sword from the mud. The sound, shh, is the only thing he recognizes. He is surrounded. These are his friends. They fought Zod together. They took Doldry together. They drank around the bonfire and shared their dreams. And now they are a lynch mob. He can't fight them. He can't kill Casca. He can't kill Judeau. But he can't let them kill him. The beast inside him, the darkness that manifests later, whispers, "Survive." Guts turns and runs. He runs through the snow, the heavy breathing returning. But this time it's panic. He is running from the band. He is running from the corpse of his best friend. He is running from the realization that he is exactly what Gambino said he was, a cursed child who brings death to everyone he touches. As he flees into the tree line, arrows flying past his head, he leaves behind a broken world. The band of the hawk is leaderless. The king of Midland will soon hear the news. The hero is dead. The white hawk is gone. But in the snow, as the warmth leaves Griffith's body, The Beherit's eye twitches, just once, not because Griffith is alive, but because the flow of causality is desperately trying to find a new path. The eclipse was promised, a sacrifice was promised. The debt must be paid. If the White Hawk cannot fly, then who will take the fall? Guts is now a fugitive, not a hero, not a captain, a kingslayer, a traitor, and he is alone in a way he has never been before. He doesn't have the rage of the black swordsman to sustain him yet. He only has guilt, crushing, suffocating guilt. He collapses miles away, in the hollow of a tree, reminiscent of where he was born, from the hanging corpse of his mother. He curls up, his sword clutched to his chest. He closes his eyes, hoping it's a nightmare, but the blood on his gloves is sticky and real. He has killed the dream, and in the darkness of his mind, he hears a voice, not Griffith's, not Casca's, a deeper, older voice. The thread is snapped, the weave unravels. This is the end of the Golden Age. But it is the beginning of something far worse. Because a world without Griffith isn't a world of peace. It's a world where the idea of evil has to improvise. And you do not want to see what happens when the God hand improvises. The snow has melted on that hill, but the stain remains. We have to move our camera now. We have to pan away from the lone figure of Guts shivering in the woods and fly toward Wyndham, the capital, the heart of Midland. In the original timeline, this is where the rescue arc begins. Guts and the Hawks infiltrate the dungeon to save a skeletal, tortured Griffith. But in this timeline, there is no rescue. There is only a funeral procession that no one asked for. Imagine the scene in the throne room. It's not the bright, opulent hall we see during the ball. Miura would draw this in heavy shadows, using that cross-hatching technique that makes the air feel thick and suffocating. The King of Midland sits on his throne. He is waiting. He expects Griffith to return, perhaps to imprison him for sleeping with Charlotte, perhaps to chastise him. He doesn't know. Then a messenger arrives. Not a hawk. A royal guard who found the scene. He carries a bundle wrapped in a cloak. He lays it down. He doesn't speak. He can't. He just opens the fabric. The king stands up. We know this king. We know the depths of his depravity, the incestuous lust he harbored for his daughter, which he projected onto Griffith as a mix of jealousy and possession. He wanted to own Griffith. Seeing the White Hawk broken, tortured, and muted in the cannon was one thing. That was the king asserting control. But seeing Griffith dead, cleaved in two like common livestock, the king doesn't scream. He makes a low, guttural sound. His mind, already teetering on the edge of senility and madness, snaps. It's a clean break. He touches the cold face of the man who was supposed to be the future of his kingdom. The beauty is gone, replaced by the grimace of sudden death. Who? The king whispers. The raid leader, sire. Guts. The explosion of rage that follows isn't political. It's personal. It's the rage of a child whose favorite toy has been smashed by a bully. The king declares the band of the Hawk not just outlaws, but heretics, monsters. He claims they conspired to kill the savior of the kingdom. He rewrites history on the spot. Griffith wasn't a hero. He was a martyr, betrayed by his own jealous subordinates. This is a crucial deviation. In the canon, the Hawks were hunted because Griffith slept with the princess. Here, they are hunted because Guts killed the idol of the nation. The narrative spins out of control. The people of Midland who loved Griffith turn on the Hawks instantly. There is no ambiguity. There is no, maybe they are good. They are demons who killed the angel. Now, cut to the band of the hawk. They are hiding in the winter forests, much like in the canon, but the atmosphere is fundamentally different. In the original story, they were waiting. They were holding onto hope. If we get Griffith back, everything will be okay. That hope was the glue holding them together. Here, the glue is gone. There is no hope. There is only fear and confusion. Casca sits by a fire that is barely burning. She is wearing her armor, but it looks heavy on her. Too heavy. She hasn't slept in 3 days. Every time she closes her eyes, she sees the sword entering Griffith's shoulder. She sees the blood. She hears the sound. Corcus is drunk. But he's not making jokes. He's weeping. "I told you," he mumbles over and over. "I told you he was a mad dog. I told you he would kill us all." Rickert is staring into the fire, traumatized. Judeau is trying to clean his knives, but his hands are shaking. The tactical genius of the Hawks is paralyzed because the strategy always relied on Griffith's ambition. Without the dream, what are they? Just mercenaries, just killers. Casca stands up. The men look at her. They need orders. They need Griffith. But they have her. "We move," she says. Her voice is brittle, like dead leaves. "If we stay here, the king's army finds us." "Move where?" Judeau asks softly. "The dream is dead, Casca." "To survive," she snaps. But the fire in her eyes isn't the inspiring leadership of the commander. It's panic masked as aggression. She hates them. She hates herself. And most of all, she hates guts. The hatred is a living thing coiling in her gut. It's the only thing keeping her warm. This is where we must pause and analyze the psychology of Casca. Her entire identity was constructed around being Griffith's sword. She accepted Guts eventually, because Griffith accepted Guts. But Guts took Griffith away. He didn't just kill a man. He killed Casca's purpose. She is regressing. She is becoming the frightened child Griffith saved. But now, there is no savior. There is only the memory of the savior's blood on the snow. Meanwhile, miles away, the murderer walks. Guts is trudging through a canyon. The wind howls, sounding like wolves. He hasn't eaten. He doesn't feel hunger. He is stuck in a loop. He replays the swing. Why didn't I stop? He had stopped 1,000 swings before. He had control. Why did the sword feel so heavy? Why did it feel like something else was pushing his arm? He looks at the Dragon Slayer. No, wait. It's not the Dragon Slayer yet. It's his standard raid sword. But it feels cursed. He wants to throw it away. But he can't. It's a part of him. If he throws it away, he is defenseless against the wolves. He is defenseless against his own mind. Night falls. The shadows lengthen. And this is where the Berserk universe begins to bleed into reality. Usually the supernatural elements creep in slowly, but the death of Griffith has caused a shock wave in the astral world. The interstice, the gap between the physical and the astral, is widening. Spirits are drawn to Guts, not because he is branded, he isn't yet, but because he is a singularity. He is the man who broke fate. He sees shapes in the dark, skeletons, distorted faces. They whisper to him, "Murderer, betrayer, you broke the world." Guts swings his sword at the shadows. "Shut up. Get out of my head." He is fighting ghosts. This is the proto-black swordsman. He is fighting to maintain his sanity. He collapses against a rock, exhausted. And then he hears the sound of hooves. Not a normal horse. The heavy, thunderous tread of something unnatural. Out of the mist steps the Skull Knight. We have to capture the gravity of this meeting. In the canon, Skull Knight appears to warn Guts about the eclipse. A reign of death is coming. But what does he say now? The eclipse, The specific event where Griffith sacrifices the band cannot happen as planned. The subject is dead. Skull Knight sits atop his horse, towering over Guts. His eyes glow with that eerie void light. "Struggler," the Skull Knight intones. Guts looks up, eyes bloodshot. "Who the hell are you? Another ghost?" "You have done the impossible," Skull Knight says. His voice is vibration, not sound. "You have severed the thread of the spider. The hawk has fallen before the flight." Guts laughs. It's a broken, manic sound. "Yeah, I killed him. Is that what you want to hear? I killed him." "You do not understand," Skull Knight continues, impassive. "The flow of causality is a river. You have thrown a boulder into the current. The water does not stop. It floods. It finds a new path. This is the key insight for this chapter. We often think of changing fate as a purely positive thing. You kill baby Hitler, you save the world. But Mura's universe operates on darker physics. The energy accumulated for the eclipse, the karma, the souls, the destiny, has been building for 216 years. It doesn't just dissipate because the key broke. It has to go somewhere. "The feast was prepared," Skull Knight says. "The guests are hungry. If the host does not serve the meal, the guests will serve themselves." Guts stares at him. "What are you talking about?" "The brand was not cast," Skull Knight says, looking toward the horizon where the band of the hawk is fleeing. "But the scent of the sacrifice is already upon them. You have not saved them, struggler. You have merely unleashed the predators without a leash. This is the horror. The eclipse was a ritual. It had rules. It was contained within a vortex. Without Griffith to focus that evil, the apostles won't be summoned to a specific dimension. They will just wake up. They will feel the void left by the unfulfilled prophecy and go into a feeding frenzy. The apostles are coming, not just Wild, all of them, Zod, Rosine, the Count. They are drawn to the band of the hawk, not by a ritual, but by the smell of a destiny that went rot. Skull Knight turns his horse. "Wait." Guts scrambles up. "What happens to them? What happens to Casca?" "They are driftwoods in a storm," Skull Knight says. "And you are the lightning that started the fire." He rides away, vanishing into the mist. Guts is left alone again. But now he has a direction. The guilt shifts. It transforms from passive mourning into active panic. He realizes that by killing Griffith, he hasn't ended the danger. He has removed the only thing that might have protected them, ironically. Guts starts running, not away from the band this time, toward them. But let's shift perspective to the astral plane for a moment. We need to visualize the God Hand, Void, Slan, Ubik, Conrad. They exist in deep layers of reality. Void hangs in the darkness. His giant brain pulses. He holds the book of causality. The pages are blurring, rewriting themselves frantically. The thread is snapped, Void would think, if he thinks in words. The fifth finger is severed. Slan, the whore of the uterine sea, would probably find this amusing. A human? A mere human broke the design? How? Delicious. Ubik and Conrad would be panicking. The cycle is 216 years. They cannot wait another 216 years. The energy is at its peak now. So, what does the God Hand do? They are master manipulators. If they cannot have Griffith, they need a proxy. They need a vessel to contain the eclipse's energy, or the energy will tear the world apart. Who has the connection? Who was closest to the hawk? Who carries the weight of the dream now? The Beherit. Where is the Beherit? We cut back to the snowy hill where Griffith died. The body is gone, but the mud is churned. We see a small hand reaching into the snow. A scavenger? A thief? No, it's Rickert. Before they fled, Rickert, the innocent soul, went back. He couldn't leave Griffith like that. He saw the strange pendant lying in the mud, the crimson Beherit. It looked like a crying face. Rickert didn't know what it was, but he knew it mattered to Griffith. He picked it up. He put it in his pouch. Rickert is with the band. He is with Casca. He is carrying the nuclear bomb in his pocket, and he doesn't even know it. The narrative tension here is unbearable. We know what the Beherit does. We know it activates on despair. And who is despairing right now? Who has lost everything? Who is drowning in a sea of broken dreams? Casca. The focus shifts to Casca. She is leading the band into a valley. It's a trap. She knows it's a bad tactical position, but she's tired. She's not thinking straight. And, on the ridges above, shadows appear. Not the king's army. The shadows are too big. They have too many eyes. Wild and the Black Dog Knights have been deployed. In the cannon, the king sends them to chase the rescue party. Here, he sends them to exterminate the traitors. Wild doesn't care about politics. He just wants to kill. Enjoyment and excitement. That's his motto. He sees the broken band of the hawk. He smells the blood in the water. Oh, ho! Wild screams from the cliff, his tongue lolling out. The pretty little birds have no wings. The white hawk is dead. That means no one is watching. The slaughter begins. It's not a battle. It's a massacre. The hawks are demoralized, tired, and leaderless. Pippin tries to hold the line, swinging his mace, but his heart isn't in it. Judeau throws knives, but they bounce off Wild's apostle hide. Casca stands in the center of the chaos. She sees her men dying. She sees the dream being torn apart by monsters. The despair rises. It chokes her. She falls to her knees. "Griffith," she sobs, "save us." In Rickert's pocket, the Beherit opens an eye. It senses the wavelength. It's not Griffith's wavelength, but it's close. It's the wavelength of someone who loved Griffith so much they became an extension of him. The Beherit is confused. Causality is confused. But the energy is there. The scream is there. The sky begins to darken. Not an eclipse of the sun. It's night. But the moon turns red. The atmosphere grows heavy. The gravity shifts. Guts is running. He sees the red glow over the valley. He knows that feeling. He felt it when Zod transformed. He feels the brand he doesn't have, yet burning in his soul. "Casca!" he roars, pushing his body past the limits of human endurance. But is he too late? Or is he running toward something worse than death? We end this chapter on the precipice of the unknown. We have broken the canon. We have killed the Messiah. But we have not killed the devil. The devil is resourceful, and he is about to offer a deal to the person we least expect. The stage is set for a different kind of eclipse, one not born of ambition, but of grief. The sky isn't just dark, it's wrong. You know that feeling when you look at a reflection in a funhouse mirror and the proportions are sickeningly off. That is the sky over the valley right now. The clouds are swirling into a funnel, but they aren't gray. They are the color of bruised meat. The air smells of ozone and copper. We are back with the band of the hawk, or what's left of them. Wild and his Black Dog Knights are closing in, but something stops them. Even Wild, the beast of pure-eyed, pauses. He sniffs the air. His fur stands on end. The lesser demons, the soldiers, they all look up. Because the ground is breathing. This is the horror of the interstice, when it forces its way into reality without a proper key. The Beherit in Rickert's pocket is screaming, a high-pitched psychic wail that drops everyone to their knees. Rickert throws the pouch away as if it burns. The crimson egg rolls out. It rearranges its features. The eyes open. The mouth stretches. Blood tears flow. and the dimension shatters. We are not transported to the orderly, M.C. Escher-esque dimension of the canon Eclipse. That place was prepared for a coronation. This is a rupture. The landscape twists. Giant faces push through the mud. The trees turn into grasping hands. The boundaries between the physical world and the abyss are dissolving because the energy has nowhere to go. It's a chaotic flood of karma. The God Hand arrives, but they don't descend with the majestic terror of the original. They flicker into existence like static on an old TV. Void, Slan, Ubik, Conrad. They hover over the battlefield, and for the first time we see something rare on their faces. Curiosity. Void speaks. His voice booms inside everyone's skull. The current is turbid. The destined time is distorted. The lamb is dead. Yet the gate opens. Slan wraps her wings around herself, looking down at the carnage. A feast without a host. How barbarous. Yet the emotions are so rich. Grief, loss, a desire to turn back the clock. They are looking at Casca. She is on her knees in the mud, surrounded by the terrified hawks. She stares at the Beherit, then up at these giants. She doesn't understand the metaphysics. She only understands that these are gods, and gods can do anything. Ubik floats down. He is the deceiver, the manipulator. He adjusts his glasses. In the canon, he showed Griffith a vision of his future to break him. Here, he shows Casca a vision of the past. Poor child, Ubik croons. You mourn the hawk. You mourn the dream. It was taken from you, wasn't it? Stolen by a mad dog. Images form in the air. We see Gut's sword hitting Griffith. We see Griffith's body in the snow. Casca screams, covering her ears, but the images play in her mind. It is not too late, Conrad whispers, his bulbous face looming. The law of causality is strict, but death is fluid in the shadow of the idea of evil. This is the hook, the terrible, impossible hook. In the canon, Griffith sacrificed the hawks to gain power. Here, the God Hand offers Casca a trade. Resurrection. Sacrifice, Void intones. Offer these lives that belong to the hawk. Return them to the abyss, and the hawk shall return to you. It's a lie. We, the audience, know it's a lie. They can't bring Griffith back as he was. They would bring him back as something else, a vessel, a dark avatar, or perhaps they are just toying with her to trigger the feast. But to Casca, drowning in trauma, it's a lifeline. She looks around. She sees Judeau, Pippin, Corcus, Rickert. These are her comrades. She loves them. But she worships Griffith. The tension tears her soul apart. To save Griffith, she must destroy everything Griffith built. It's the ultimate paradox. Casca's voice trembles. I just want him back. The brand of sacrifice begins to appear on the skin of the hawks. Not burned in yet, but glowing faintly. The specters of the abyss begin to circle. The apostles, Wailed included, are drooling. They are waiting for the word. And then a sword cuts the air. Clang. A massive blade spins through the darkness and slams into the ground between Casca and Ubik. The illusion flickers. Guts has arrived. He stands on the ridge, panting. He is covered in sweat and the blood of wolves. His eyes are wide, fixed on the God Hand. He has never seen them before. He has no reference for this cosmic horror. But he knows one thing. They are messing with Casca. Get away from her, Guts roars. He slides down the embankment, retrieving his sword. He places himself between Casca and the floating entities. This is a powerful reversal. In the canon, Guts was helpless, pinned down while Griffith made the choice. Here, Guts is the active variable. He is the interruption. Slan laughs. The struggler, the man who broke the wheel. You are the one who killed the chosen. Do you seek to kill us too? If you don't back off, I'll try, Guts snarls. He is terrified. His knees are shaking, but his rage, his instinct to protect, overrides the fear. Wild sees fresh meat. The killer, the little man who killed the hawk. Let me eat him. Let me. Wild charges. This is the first real test of Guts against an apostle without the years of black swordsman experience. But Guts is fueled by a frantic desperation. He doesn't fight with technique. He fights with brute force. He meets Wild's charge head-on. The collision sends shockwaves through the mud. Guts is thrown back, ribs cracking, but he scrambles up instantly. Casca, run! Guts screams. Get them out of here. Casca looks at him. Her eyes are vacant. She is still under Ubik's spell. He says he can bring him back, Guts. He can bring Griffith back. Guts freezes. He looks at the floating monsters. He understands the game immediately. They're lying, Casca. Look at them. They're demons. Griffith is dead. I killed him. He's gone. He's gone because of you, Casca shrieks. The grief explodes into fury. She draws her sword. This is the tragedy. Guts is fighting monsters to save Casca, and Casca wants to kill Guts to save a ghost. Ubik chuckles. Yes, let the hate flow. That is the energy we need, the despair of the broken bond. The apostles begin the slaughter. They don't wait for the eye sacrifice. The energy is chaotic enough that the barriers are down. Wild grabs a nameless hawk soldier and rips him in half. The screaming starts. It wakes Casca up. She sees Pippin smashing a demon's head with his bare hands. She sees Judo throwing knives into a cyclops-like monster's eye. The reality of the massacre shatters the fantasy of resurrection. Griffith wouldn't want this. Griffith sacrificed everything for the dream, but he built this band. These were his wings. No, Casca whispers. Choose, Void commands. The pressure increases, the gravity doubles. The hawks are being pinned to the ground. Guts is fighting for his life against Wild. He's losing. Wild is too fast, too strong. He pins Guts to the ground, drool dripping onto Guts' face. I'm going to eat your liver while you watch, little man. But Guts has something Wild doesn't. He has the iron slab. And he has a complete disregard for his own body. Guts headbutts Wild. It sounds like two rocks smashing together. Wild flinches. Guts jams his thumb into Wild's eye. It's dirty. It's brutal. It's human. Guts rolls free, grabs his sword, and swings at Wild's legs. He severs a tendon. Wild howls. Judo! Pippin! Grab Casca! Guts yells. Go! I'll hold him off. We can't leave you, Judo shouts, dodging a claw. Go! Guts screams. I caused this. I have to finish it. This is the pivotal moment of Guts' character development. He accepts the weight of his sin. He isn't running anymore. He is standing in the mouth of hell to pay his debt. He is willing to die so the people Griffith loved can live. But the God Hand is not done. The sacrifice must be paid, Void says. If the woman will not speak the words, then the blood spilled shall serve as the down payment. The ground opens up beneath them. A vortex of souls begins to swirl. This is the abyss calling. It wants Griffith. But Griffith is dead, so it wants the next best thing. It wants the killer. The spirits grasp at Guts. They recognize the mark of the one who altered fate. He is ours, the spirits whisper. Suddenly, a massive shadow falls over the battlefield. A roar shakes the very fabric of the dimension. Zod the Immortal lands. He lands not to join the feast, but to confront the anomaly. He stares at Guts. He stares at the dead body of Wild, who Guts just managed to decapitate in a frenzy of survival. Zod is furious. His prophecy that Guts would face a death he could not escape has been twisted. You, Zod rumbles. You killed the White Hawk. You robbed me of the ultimate jewel. Guts spits blood. Get in line. Zod looks at the God Hand. He bows slightly, but there is tension. Is this the festival void? It lacks elegance. It is a necessity, Void replies. Zod turns back to Guts. If you die here, devoured by these scavengers, it is a waste. Draw your sword, human. Zod throws his scimitar to Guts, whose sword is chipped and breaking. It's a moment of warrior respect amidst the demonic apocalypse. Guts catches it. Casca, Guts says, not looking back. If you ever loved him, live. Live and remember him. Don't let these things turn him into a monster. Casca is crying. Pippin picks her up. Judeau signals Rickert. They run. They run toward the edge of the distortion, where the Skull Knight is cutting a hole in the barrier. Yes, Skull Knight is the extraction team. Guts stands alone against Zod and a horde of apostles. The God Hand watches. Come on, Guts roars, raising Zod's sword. Come and get me. The screen fades to black on the image of Guts leaping into a sea of monsters, a lone spark of defiance in absolute darkness. But we are not done. There is one final twist to this chapter. In the astral depth, where the soul of Griffith floats in the dark ocean of the afterlife, something finds him. It's not the God Hand. It's the idea of evil itself, the massive, swirling heart of humanity's subconscious desires. Griffith's soul is fading, but the idea of evil speaks. The vessel is broken, but the longing remains. If you cannot be the king of light, you shall be the king of shadows. The Beherit, still lying in the mud where Rickert dropped it, begins to fuse, not with a person, but with the corpse of Wild? No. With Guts's broken sword? No. It fuses with the child. Wait. Remember the demon child? The fetus Casca was carrying? The one corrupted by Femto in the cannon? Here, Casca is pregnant from the one night with Guts. The stress, the astral energy, the presence of the God Hand. The Beherit resonates with the unborn life. The Beherit dissolves into Casca's womb as she flees. She gasps, clutching her stomach. A pulse of dark light erupts from her. The eclipse ends, not with a bang, but with a birth. Guts fights on, unaware that the true nightmare has just been sown. He thinks he is paying for the past. He doesn't know he has just created the future. The sun rises. It always does. That is the most insulting thing about nature in the world of Berserk. No matter how much blood is spilled, no matter how many laws of physics are violated, the sun comes up, indifferent and blindingly bright. We open on the valley. It looks like a slaughterhouse floor. The mud is black with a dried ichor. The bodies of the Black Dog Knights are scattered like broken toys. And in the center of it all, there is a mound of apostle corpses. Sitting on top of that mound is Guts. He is not dead, but he is not the Guts we knew. He is missing an eye, gouged out not by a torture claw, but by the desperate thumb of a dying demon. His left arm is shattered, hanging uselessly at his side. He hasn't lost it, but it will never hold a sword the same way again. He is breathing in shallow, ragged gasps. He is alive because Zod allowed it. Zod, the immortal, saw something in this human that transcended the prophecy. He saw a man who didn't just struggle against the current. He became the rock that split the river. Zod left him with a cryptic warning. The shadow you cast will grow longer than the light you extinguished. Guts tries to stand. He falls. He crawls. He isn't looking for glory. He is looking for a scrap of cloth, Casca's cloak. He finds it snagged on a thorn bush. He clutches it to his chest, and for the first time since the duel in the snow, he weeps, not out of relief, out of the sheer crushing weight of survival. He saved them, but at what cost? Cut to the Skull Knight's extraction point, a cave high in the mountains. The remnants of the Band of the Hawk are huddled there. They are traumatized, yes, but they are alive. Judeo is bandaging Pippin. Rickert is staring at the sky. Casca sits apart from them. She is shivering. Her hands are wrapped protectively around her stomach. She feels it, the thing inside her. It's not just a baby anymore. It pulses. It whispers. The Beherit didn't just fuse with the fetus. It acted as a catalyst. The unfulfilled energy of the Eclipse, denied its grand stage, has condensed into a singularity within her womb. Skull Knight stands by the cave entrance, watching the horizon. "Is he dead?" Rickert asks, his voice cracking. "The struggler lives," Skull Knight says, "but he walks a path of ash." Casca looks up. Her eyes are hard. The fragility of the previous chapter is gone, replaced by a terrifying maternal instinct mixed with survivor's guilt. "We have to go back for him." "We cannot," Skull Knight says. "The scent of the interstice clings to you. If you return, you bring the darkness with you. You must disappear." This sets the new status quo. In the original story, Guts leaves Casca to hunt apostles. Here, the dynamic is inverted. Guts must stay away from them to keep them safe. He is the beacon. He is the one who drew the ire of the God hand. If he is near them, the demons will find them. To protect the family he loves, he has to become the monster that haunts the dark alone. The montage of chaos. We accelerate the timeline now. We need to show the consequences of a world without a savior, without Griffith to lead the Midland armies. The war with Tudor drags on, but it becomes a muddy stalemate attrition. The king of Midland dies screaming in his bed, madness consuming him. The kingdom fractures. Warlords rise. The Kushan Empire invades sooner, seeing the weakness. Midland becomes a hellscape. There is no Golden Age climax. There is only a slow, grinding decay, famine, plague, war. The people cry out for a hero. They cry out for the White Hawk. But there is no hawk. There is only the Black Swordsman. But this Guts is different. He isn't hunting the God hand for revenge. He isn't screaming, "Griffith," into the void. He is a weary, methodical exterminator. He wanders from village to village. When apostles, emboldened by the lack of a central command, terrorize the populace, Guts arrives. He carries the Dragon Slayer now. He found Godo, the blacksmith. He didn't demand a weapon to kill a god. He asked for a tool to clean up a mess. Godo saw the heavy soul of the man and gave him the slab of iron. "It's too heavy for a human," Godo warned. "I carry heavier things," Guts replied. We see Guts killing an apostle that looks like a giant toad. He doesn't smile. He doesn't gloat. He kills it efficiently, burns the body, and leaves before the villagers can thank him. He is a ghost story, a grim reaper who cleans the stains of causality. The reunion 3 years pass. We find ourselves in a hidden valley, a sanctuary protected by old magic, perhaps Flora's mansion. The Band of the Hawk has become a resistance group, protecting refugees. Casca is the leader. She is fierce, scarred, and commanding. She has kept the memory of Griffith alive, not as a god, but as a warning. Ambition eats its children, she teaches. But she has a secret. The child. The boy is 3 years old, but he looks 7. He has silver hair. He has eyes that seem to contain the cosmos. He doesn't speak. He floats sometimes. The hawks are terrified of him, but Casca protects him with the ferocity of a lioness. She named him Guts, a heartbreaking detail. She named the son after the father she thinks she lost, or the father she can never see again. One night, the sanctuary is breached, not by an apostle, but by the Kushan sorcerers. They sense the power of the child. They want to harvest it. The hawks fight bravely. Pippin holds the gate. Judo commands the archers, but they are overwhelmed. The Pishaka, demon soldiers, swarm the mansion. Casca is cornered in the nursery, sword in hand, shielding the boy. "Stay behind me," she yells. The boy steps forward. He looks at the monsters. He raises a hand. The air warps. Gravity inverts. The monsters are crushed into a singularity. It's terrifying. It's the power of Femto, but in the body of a child. Casca looks at her son with horror and love. This is the tension. She is raising the reincarnation of the man she loved, who is also the monster that wants to consume the world, who is also the son of the man who killed him. Just as the Kushan general prepares a massive spell to capture the boy, a bolt of iron splits the night. The dragon slayer slams into the general, turning him into paste. Guts steps out of the shadows of the burning forest. He looks older. His hair has a patch of white, the berserker armor's stress, though he wears a patchwork of leather and steel. He looks at Casca. She looks at him. The silence is thick enough to choke on. "You're late," Casca says, tears brimming in her eyes. Traffic was bad, Guts grunts. They fight back to back. It's the reunion we always wanted, but recontextualized. They aren't fighting to restore a dream. They are fighting to protect a nightmare, the child. The final confrontation, philosophical. After the battle, the dust settles. Guts stands before the boy. The boy looks up at Guts, the silver hair, the familiar eyes. Guts grips his sword. The beast of darkness whispers in his mind, "Kill it. It's him. It's the seed of the Eclipse. End it now." Casca steps between them. "Don't." "He's dangerous, Casca," Guts says, his voice rough. "You saw what he did. That's not human." "He is ours," Casca says. "He is the consequence. You broke the world, Guts. You don't get to kill the pieces that don't fit. We have to live with them." This is the core insight of this entire what if. Berserk is often interpreted as a battle against destiny. But here, Guts defeated destiny, and the result was chaos. The lesson shifts. Freedom isn't the absence of consequences. It's the responsibility for them. Guts looks at the boy. The boy reaches out and touches Guts' metal hand. The boy doesn't smile, but his eyes soften. He isn't Griffith. He isn't Femto. He is something new. A being born of light and darkness, of love and regret. Guts sighs. The tension leaves his shoulders. He sheathes the dragon slayer. "He needs a haircut," Guts says. The closing monologue. The final scene is set around a bonfire. The bonfire of Dream's speech is iconic in the canon. Here, we revisit it. The hawks are gathered. They are older, scarred, fewer in number, but they are alive. They are free. They are not branded sacrifices. They are people who looked into the abyss and refused to blink. Guts sits on a log, polishing his sword. Casca sits beside him, the strange child sleeping in her lap. We often ask if we can change our fate. We dream of stopping the tragedy before it starts. We fantasize about the sword that cuts the thread of destiny. But Guts taught us something darker, and perhaps more beautiful. He taught us that there is no happy ending where the problems just vanish. You kill the hawk and the world goes dark. You save the girl and she carries a monster. The struggle isn't about reaching a destination where the pain stops. The struggle is the destination. Look at them. They are in a world without a sun, surrounded by demons, hunted by gods. But they are warm. They are together. They forged a meaning, not from a grand prophecy, but from the simple, brutal act of refusing to die. Guts didn't save the world. He broke it. But in the cracks, something real started to grow. The camera pans up to the night sky. The stars are scattered, chaotic, no longer aligned in constellations. But they shine. Guts looks at the fire. He throws a stick into it. Sparks fly up, dancing in the dark. I guess, Guts murmurs mostly to himself, this is what it means to be a human. The boy opens his eyes. One eye is blue, the other is brown.